Nothing registered today, not bad news, not a crisis, just nothing. The day ended, the field is blank. That is not calm, that is a gap. You were there for all of it, you replied. Showed up, handled what came in, the thread is full of sounds good, okay sure, scroll up, find one you started. Find one that carries anything beyond acknowledgement. You attended what was on the calendar, you handled what was asked. And if someone asked for one moment from today that actually landed, you would pause. Not because the day was bad, because it did not register. You have been measuring stability by what you do not feel, no anxiety, no overwhelm, no mess, and the absence of negative has been passing for control. But absence of negative is not presence of positive. Ask how you are and the answer is fine. Monday is fine, Thursday is fine, Sunday is fine. Fine covers the whole week, which means it measures nothing. This did not start as the default. At some point there was too much input, too much intensity, too many signals at once, so the dampening response lowered the volume. The drop felt like relief. Relief read as success. The system learned, suppress intensity, get calm, so it kept running, long after the overload was gone, the blank log, the functional replies. The calendar full of obligations you did not choose. That is the visible output of a pattern that solved one problem and became the only setting. Now look at the cost. Your calendar is full. How many entries are there because you wanted them there, not because they were required, not because someone else scheduled them? Because you felt a pull toward them. The number is probably 0. Preference requires signal. Signal is what the system suppresses, so decisions get made by elimination. Whatever requires the least engagement wins. The same thing happens with people. You stopped initiating, so they stopped proposing. The thread went quiet not because anyone was angry, but because the signal stopped coming from your side. Relationships do not end here. They thin, and by the time you notice, the texture is already gone. Walk through a week. Monday, something good happens at work. You notice it. The shift lasts a few seconds, then flat again. Wednesday, you go out. You were present. By Thursday morning, the retrieval is thin. Friday, someone tells you something that matters to them. You respond well. The call ends. Your internal state is exactly where it was before it started. Sunday night, you try to name the strongest moment of the week, not the busiest, not the most productive, the one that registered, blank. The week happened at full operational capacity and left no shape behind it. Then something worth wanting shows up. You assess it logistically, timing, effort, pros, cons. The question, do I want this, produces no signal, so the decision gets made by default. When preference disappears, opportunity costs the same as obligation. Someone close to you shares something difficult. You say the right things. The tone is right. The presence is right. Then the call ends. Nothing moved. Not because you do not care, because the system intercepts the signal before it lands. This is a functional flatline, not broken, not in crisis, operating normally while the internal register runs at 0, and it does not show from the outside. It only shows in the record. Right now the record does not exist. That would be bad enough, but it gets worse. The loop does not self-correct. Suppression removes discomfort. Removed discomfort reads as stability. Stability gets rewarded. At work. In relationships. By a culture that trusts people who do not get rattled. The system that would flag the problem is the same system running the suppression. It cannot report its own absence. Nothing registers. So nothing triggers correction. The loop uses its own output as proof that it is working, and while it runs, something quieter gets worse. The dampening does not only suppress discomfort. It suppresses preference, want, care. The signals that tell you what you would choose if no one were asking. Your access to that signal is degrading, not suddenly, incrementally. Each suppressed response makes the next suppression more automatic. A week of blank entries is not one bad stretch. It is a record of a system that has been running long enough to become the default. The question, what do you actually want, gets harder to answer because the signal is being intercepted before it arrives. Then the shield. You do not get rattled. You are past being reactive. You handle things without drama. You are not emotional. You are stable. All of that gets rewarded, professionally, socially, relationally. The composure becomes your reputation, which means admitting the flatness now is not a small correction. It means admitting the composure was not a skill, it was an absence. Feeling more would look like losing control. Recovery would look like regression. The more the composure gets validated, the more expensive it becomes to question it. So this loop has no external failure signal. No distress, no visible break, A timer does not fit. There is no missed action window. A calendar does not fit. The schedule is already full. A done state does not fit. Tasks complete fine. What is missing is a record of whether anything registered at all. The only way to see a flat line is to create a record that shows it. 1 line per day, 1 moment or nothing. Nothing else enters. At the end of each day, open the same log. Add the date and 1 line, the single strongest moment that registered, positive or negative. If nothing registered, write nothing. After 7 days, read the 7 lines together. That is it. 7 dated lines. Each line either names 1 moment or says nothing. Multiple nothing entries in sequence make the flat line undeniable. One specific entry makes the suppression visible by contrast. The log exists or it does not. The line names something or it says nothing. The record cannot be argued with. What is the last entry in your log that names something specific, and how many days ago was that?